You're not losing because you're stupid. You're not failing because your system is broken. You're not stuck because you don't know enough. You're stuck because you keep trying to solve an internal problem with external tools. Because you think your drawdown is about the market. Because you believe a better indicator will silence the voice of doubt inside you. But what if the chart isn't your real opponent? What if the real battle is happening in the space between your thoughts? What if your need to win is the reason you keep losing? Every time you chase the market, you're really running from yourself. Every oversized position, every revenge trade, every system switch, it's not strategy, it's survival. It's ego trying to avoid pain. And every trader knows that pain intimately. The pain of watching gains vanish in a second. The pain of pressing buy when your chest is tight and your palms sweat. The pain of knowing you didn't follow your plan again. You don't need another setup. You need stillness. You need to hear the voice beneath the panic, the one that whispers the truth you've ignored. You are the system. The market doesn't care who you are, but it will reflect who you are back to you with brutal precision. And until you understand that, every new tool becomes another weapon you turn on yourself. So stop. Sit with it. Ask yourself, am I trading to succeed or to escape? If that question makes your stomach clench, keep listening. Because this isn't just another trading video. This is an initiation, a map into the mind beneath the market, a journey through the laws only 5% ever truly learn. And it starts the moment you decide to stop blaming the chart and start looking in the mirror. Success in trading doesn't come from knowing more. It comes from becoming more. Not more aggressive, not more confident, more aware. Most traders spend years searching for the perfect system. They optimize entries, fine-tune indicators, chase setups, but underneath it all, they're searching for something else. Certainty. Certainty that they're safe. Certainty that they're right. Certainty that they'll win. But markets don't reward certainty. They reward adaptability. And the truth is this, you are not trying to conquer the market. You're trying to conquer yourself. The chart is a mirror. It reflects your fears, your desires, your impatience. It exposes your attachment to being right. It punishes your resistance to being wrong. And the more you ignore that, the more expensive the lesson becomes. That's why this isn't about setups or signals. It's about psychology. It's about emotional structure. It's about seeing that the market doesn't test your system. It tests your soul. The best traders don't win because they're smarter. They win because they're self-aware. They don't control the market. They control their reactions to it. They don't avoid pain. They transmute it. There are laws, not of price, but of mind. 15 of them, unspoken, invisible, but they shape everything. How you think, how you act, how you survive. These are not tactics. They are transformations. And once you see them, you'll understand why 95% never make it and why you still can. Not by trading harder, but by seeing deeper. Because until you master yourself, you'll never master your edge. And until you learn to lose consciously, you'll never win sustainably. So what follows is not a strategy. It's a shift in thinking, in feeling, in being. 15 laws, 15 mirrors, 15 keys to turn confusion into clarity, fear into presence, and failure into wisdom. There is no holy grail, no secret formula, no one-size-fits-all strategy that guarantees success. Yet the myth persists. Traders chase indicators like addicts chasing a high. They tweak, optimize, backtest, overfit. They believe the next system will save them. But trading isn't solved outside of you. It's solved within. The truth is this, any system can work, but no system will work for you if it doesn't align with who you are. Your nervous system is part of the strategy. Your beliefs shape your entries. Your temperament influences your exits. Your identity bleeds into every trade you take. And that's why the perfect system is a lie. Because perfection isn't universal, it's personal. You must ask, can I emotionally tolerate this drawdown? Can I stay present through this volatility? Can I follow this plan in real time, not in theory, but under pressure? The trader's illusion is that success lives in the chart. But the deeper reality is that your edge is a reflection of your emotional architecture. So forget finding the perfect system. Start building the one you can actually execute. Not the one that looks great on paper, but the one you can live with in real time. The one that doesn't fight your nature, but flows with it. Your job is not to find the right rules. It's to find the right rules for you. Because when your system reflects your structure, you stop fighting yourself. You stop second guessing. You stop self-sabotaging. You don't need the best strategy. You need a sustainable one. Not one that promises the most profit, but one that keeps you present, consistent, and intact. Let go of perfection. Build something honest. Something that works because it works for you. That's not compromise. That's mastery. True confidence isn't loud. It doesn't boast, doesn't overpromise, doesn't need to be right. It prepares. It adapts. It lets go quickly. Arrogance, on the other hand, clings to being right. It doubles down. It resists reality, and that resistance becomes expensive. The market doesn't care how right you feel. It only cares how you respond to being wrong. The best traders don't marry their opinions. They marry their process. They aren't in love with predictions. They're in love with preparation. Confidence is knowing you'll survive being wrong. Arrogance is thinking you can't be. Every blown account, every fatal trade has arrogance behind it. A refusal to adapt, a refusal to cut, a refusal to admit. Confidence keeps risk small. Arrogance lets it grow. Confidence says, I might be wrong. Arrogance says, I can't be. Confidence breathes. Arrogance tenses. Confidence watches. Arrogance rushes. Confidence follows the system. Arrogance overrides it. You can't remove uncertainty, but you can remove your need to be certain. That's where confidence begins. In embracing the unknown and still choosing presence. In letting go of needing to control the outcome and choosing to control your response. Confidence is calm, not hype. It's discipline, not prediction. It's resilience, not bravado. It's built, trade by trade, not declared. So when you win, don't get loud. Get quiet. Review. Refocus. Stay humble. When you lose, don't collapse. Don't chase. Don't prove. Pause. Arrogance thinks it's above the rules. Confidence lives by them. And the moment you stop needing to be right, you become unstoppable. You will lose. You will bleed. You will doubt everything. And that is not failure. That is the path. Losses are not detours. They are landmarks. They are landmarks. They show you where ego still lives, where preparation was shallow, where discipline cracked. But most traders take losses personally. They see them as judgment, as proof they're not good enough. So they avoid them. They hide from them. They try to trade around them. And in doing so, they miss the lesson, because every loss is feedback, not about the market, about you. It reveals impatience, overconfidence, denial, revenge, hope. And if you track it, if you face it, if you journal it, you begin to see the patterns. You begin to see yourself. The real edge isn't in never losing. It's in extracting insight from pain. Every mistake is a mirror. Every drawdown is a doorway. The question is, will you walk through it? Or will you keep repeating the same habits, hoping for a different chart to save you? The amateurs avoid the hurt. The pros explore it. The amateurs bury the data. The pros dissect it. This is emotional work. This is memory work. This is how instinct is born. You lose, you reflect, you adapt, then you lose better, smaller, cleaner, and eventually you begin to win. Not because the market changed, because you did. So don't fear the red. Study it, befriend it, trace its origins. Was it fear? Was it boredom? Was it pressure to prove? Ask, write, learn. Losing isn't the opposite of winning. It's the tuition. Your edge doesn't begin with your entry. It begins with your energy. It begins with the mood you bring to the market. It begins the moment you sit down at the screen. Every trade is emotional. Every decision you make is filtered through your state. Tense body, shallow breath, scattered mind, these are setups too. Setups for mistakes, for hesitation, for overreaction. Your strategy doesn't fail alone. It fails when your state corrupts it. When fear overrides logic, when greed hijacks the plan, when boredom invites impulse. The pros know this. They expect emotion. They don't fight it. They observe it. They build systems to contain it. They breathe before entries. They pause after exits. They journal what they feel as much as what they see. And that awareness becomes strength. That pause becomes power. That breath becomes clarity. Your job is not to suppress emotion. Your job is to regulate it, to witness it without obeying it, to decode it before you act on it. Because your state determines your behavior, and your behavior shapes your outcomes. You think you need more discipline, but what you really need is nervous system awareness, emotional literacy, the ability to name what's happening before it becomes action. That's why you journal. That's why you slow down. That's why you sit with the discomfort instead of reacting to it. You're not training for more control. You're training for more space between stimulus and response. The market will always create waves. Your job is to learn how to surf, not by holding still, but by moving with intelligence. State before strategy, presence before prediction, clarity before confirmation. That's the edge no one can take from you. Markets change, conditions shift, volatility expands and contracts, and the trader who clings to one method, one style, one tempo gets left behind. Rigidity is death. Adaptability is survival. You are not meant to trade one way forever. You are meant to evolve, not chaotically, intentionally, not impulsively, informed by awareness. Adapting isn't abandoning, it's adjusting. It's scaling down during turbulence. It's stepping aside during confusion. It's shifting styles when the rhythm no longer fits. And sometimes it means doing nothing, sitting out, letting the storm pass. Because absence can be a position, and patience can be profit. This isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's emotional flexibility, the ability to pivot without shame, to course correct without collapse. The market will not reward stubbornness. It will punish attachment. It will crush pride disguised as commitment. So stop trying to force one approach onto all environments. Stop thinking consistency means sameness. True consistency lives in your process, not in your tactics. Ask, what is this market asking of me? What is the right tempo for this moment? What risks are alive here that weren't present yesterday? Adaptation requires presence. It requires humility. The willingness to say, this worked, but now it doesn't. Without self-blame, without panic. You don't need to be rigid. You need to be responsive, guided by structure, but not confined by it. Adaptability is not chaos. It's calibrated flexibility. It's knowing when to press and when to pause, when to act and when to wait. And in that dance, you stay alive. You survive long enough for your edge to emerge again, for clarity to return, for momentum to rebuild. Because the trader who adapts doesn't just react, they realign. Intelligence is not enough. Insight is not enough. Even edge is not enough. Without discipline, none of it survives. Without structure, brilliance burns out. Without consistency, potential decays. Trading doesn't reward the smartest. It rewards the most obedient, the ones who follow the plan when it's boring, who cut losses when it hurts, who let winners run without interference, who execute their edge without negotiation. This is not glamorous. It is not exciting. It is routine. It is repetition. It is restraint. Discipline is showing up the same way, regardless of mood. It's keeping rules sacred even when emotion screams for exception. Most traders fail not from ignorance, but from inconsistency. They know what to do. They just don't do it. Not because they're lazy, but because they haven't built the structure to override impulse. Discipline is that structure. It is the container that protects you from yourself. So automate, checklist, pre-plan, systematize, engineer the boredom, embrace it, let it become your foundation. Because discipline is freedom. It frees you from emotional noise. It frees you from regret. It frees you from the chaos of reacting. Every rule you write is a boundary against self-sabotage. Every routine you honor is a vote for your future self. Talent wants to be right. Discipline wants to be effective. Talent gets emotional. Discipline gets neutral. Don't worship genius. Build structure. Don't chase alpha. Execute habits. Discipline is not rigidity. It is clarity. It's knowing what to do, doing it precisely, and doing it again. Day after day, win or lose, high or low. Because mastery isn't dramatic. It's deliberate, it's dull, it's dependable. And in the end, discipline wins. Not loudly, but consistently. Fear is not the problem. Greed is not the problem. What you do with them is. Traders are taught to eliminate emotion, to trade like robots. But you are not a robot. You are a human being wired to feel. And those feelings hold data. Fear tells you where risk lives. Greed shows you where desire clouds judgment. Both are messengers. The problem is not that you feel. The problem is that you react without decoding. Fear says, slow down. You hear, run. Greed says, this looks good. You hear, bet everything. This misinterpretation is what destroys traders. Fear becomes paralysis. Greed becomes obsession. And both blind you. But the pros, they listen differently. They feel the spike in tension and pause. They notice the surge of excitement and breathe. They turn emotion into information, not instruction. This is emotional neutrality, not the absence of feeling, but the presence of awareness. It starts by naming what arises. Tension, urgency, elation, dread, name it. Don't fight it, sit with it. Ask, what is this showing me? Not, how do I get rid of it? That shift turns emotion into signal. Fear becomes a reminder to check your risk. Greed becomes a prompt to revisit your plan. These are not enemies. They are compasses. Misread, they lead to ruin. Understood, they lead to mastery. You don't trade despite your emotions. You trade with them in full view. And over time, that awareness becomes power. Because when you stop fighting yourself, you start seeing clearly. It's not the market that breaks you. It's what you bring to the market. The need to control, the fear of being wrong, the addiction to being right, the hunger to prove something. The chart doesn't know you, but it reveals you. Every overtrade is self-abandonment. Every revenge trade is ego trying to reclaim power. Every deviation from your plan is a reflection of some inner wound acting out in real time. You are not just trading capital. You are trading belief systems, core assumptions, unconscious narratives, old stories, the need to win to feel worthy, the fear of missing out to feel included, the impulse to control chaos because you never felt safe. Until you face these truths, they will run your trading. Not because you're broken, but because you haven't looked deep enough. The pros? They journal. They reflect. They track emotions as closely as they track price. They make rules to protect themselves from themselves. And they don't pretend to be perfect. They build for imperfection. You think trading is about performance. It's not. It's about pattern recognition, not just in the chart, but in your own behavior. Where do you break down? Where do you ignore your rules? What triggers you into tunnel vision? There's a reason you hesitate, a reason you size up at the wrong time, a reason you won't cut the loser. That reason is you. And that's not condemnation. That's liberation. Because once you own it, you can shift it. Once you see it, you can change it. But only if you stop blaming the market, stop blaming the news, stop blaming volatility, and start asking the only question that matters. What is this trade revealing about me? You don't build skill under pressure. You build it under control. Big size clouds clarity. It hijacks your nervous system. It turns learning into panic. When the stakes are too high, your brain can't process. You freeze, you fumble, you flee. And then you learn nothing, except fear. So shrink it, size down. Trade so small it's almost boring, because boredom is where mastery begins. Repetition without trauma. Execution without threat. Consistency without chaos. You think you need more size to grow. You don't. You need more reps, more feedback, more time in the arena without getting knocked out. Small trades teach clean lessons. They show you your process. They surface your biases. They reveal your emotions without overwhelming them. And when you mess up, you don't spiral. You reflect. You reset. You go again. This is how instinct forms. This is how intuition develops. Not from winning big, but from losing small with awareness. You're not proving anything. You're building capacity. You're earning trust in yourself, in your plan, in your resilience. Most traders overtrade because they're in a hurry, to arrive, to impress, to escape something. But there is no arrival. There is only repetition, only refinement, only readiness. You don't earn size. You expand into it after your system is stronger than your ego. Trade small, journal deep, review often, adjust precisely. Size is not a badge, it's a responsibility. And until you can handle loss without identity collapse, you're not ready to go big. Go small, go long, stay in the game, and let your skill earn your scale. Most traders chase outcomes. They worship the green, they fear the red, they let results define their worth. But the pros know better. They don't ask, did I win? They ask, did I follow my plan? Process is the anchor, the map, the edge, not the money, not the dopamine spike, not the P&L. Because you can win doing the wrong thing, and you can lose doing the right thing. And if you only trust outcomes, you reinforce the wrong behaviors. The amateur trades to feel something. The professional trades to execute something. Over and over with precision, with intention, with detachment. This is the real skill, to judge yourself by your process, not your profit. To take a loss and still feel proud because you stayed aligned. To take a win and still stay humble because you followed structure. The market is chaos. The process is control. Every checklist you follow protects your edge. Every rule you obey protects your mind. Every review you perform refines your awareness. Outcomes are noisy. Process is signal. So stop asking, how much did I make? Start asking, where did I break protocol? What did I feel at that decision point? What will I do differently next time? That's where growth lives. In repetition, in refinement, in ritual. Detach from the result. Attach to the craft. And over time, the outcomes will follow. But more importantly, you'll become someone who doesn't need the outcome to feel confident, to feel clear, to feel aligned. Because the process is the win. You're not born with trading instinct. You build it, you earn it through repetition, through exposure, through deep, honest review. Intuition is not magic. It's memory. It's subconscious pattern recognition. It's the quiet voice that forms from thousands of observed outcomes. But most traders mistake impulse for intuition. They feel urgency and call it gut. They feel fear and call it signal. True intuition is calm. It whispers, not shouts. It comes from pattern familiarity, not emotional reactivity. You don't get that from watching a few charts. You get that from immersing, from living the market rhythm day after day, from tracking what you felt, what you did, and what happened next. This is the journaling. This is the review. This is the refinement. Every emotional note is a brick in your internal map. Every documented trigger is a step toward clarity. Every small mistake studied is a calibration of instinct. Over time, you begin to feel structure, to sense misalignment, to spot imbalance. Not because you guessed, but because you've seen it so many times your body knows before your mind does. That's earned intuition. It's not excitement. It's recognition. It's not a thrill. It's a quiet, steady signal. You feel it when the setup matches your plan. You feel it when your nervous system stays neutral. You feel it when nothing in you is forcing the trade. And if it's not there, you wait. Because forcing isn't intuition. It's fear in disguise. Don't chase the gut feeling. Build it. Earn it. Through work, through attention, through presence. Because when intuition is real, it doesn't rush, it guides, and it rarely shouts. It waits for you to be quiet enough to hear it. There is no best strategy. There is only your strategy. The market doesn't care what works for someone else. It only responds to what you can execute consistently. Your system must reflect your nervous system, your appetite for risk, your cognitive style, your time availability, your emotional bandwidth. A good strategy on paper means nothing if you can't follow it in real time. Most traders copy others. They chase what looks profitable, but what's profitable for them might be unsustainable for you. You have to build inward, from temperament to tactic, from identity to edge. Ask, do I prefer momentum or mean reversion? Can I sit through drawdowns or do I panic? Do I thrive with fast decisions or crumble under speed? This is psychological architecture. This is structural alignment. Your edge is not in the setup alone. It's in how well that setup fits your emotional design. The pros know this. They craft rules not just for profit, but for personal congruence. They trade what suits them, not what impresses others. They don't copy systems. They forge them through experience, through error, through iteration. And once they find it, they commit. Not blindly, but with refinement. Because the goal is not perfection. It's sustainability. It's longevity. A system that fits won't feel like a constant fight. It will feel like rhythm, like breath, like repetition that nourishes instead of drains. You are not just a trader. You are an organism in a system, and your tools must match your biology, your pace, your pattern. So stop asking what works. Start asking what works for you, and build from there, not just to win, but to last. The future is unknowable. No amount of analysis will make it certain. Yet most traders try to predict. They forecast, they guess, they bet big on what might happen. And when they're wrong, they freeze. They fight, they spiral. But the best don't predict. They prepare, they react. They build logic into uncertainty. They craft if-then maps. If this breaks, then I act. If this holds, then I wait. They don't need to be right. They need to be ready. Prediction is a trap. It feeds ego. It demands control. It reinforces the illusion that certainty equals safety. But there is no safety in trading. Only structure, only reaction, only presence. Reacting is strength. It means you observe, you wait, you watch for confirmation, you trust what the market is telling you, not what you want it to say. Predicting pulls you out of the now. Reacting grounds you in it. You are not here to be a prophet. You are here to be a practitioner. So ditch the bias, ditch the need to be right, replace it with curiosity. What is this price action saying? What story is this volume telling? Where is structure forming or breaking? Let the chart lead. Let the market speak and respond precisely without attachment. This isn't passivity. It's active awareness. It's responsiveness without rigidity. You don't control the outcome. You control your readiness. React with clarity. React with speed. React with grace. Because when you stop needing to predict, you free yourself to adapt. And in adaptation, you survive. Everyone fears the drawdown, the slide, the bleeding, the silence after the stop out. But drawdown isn't failure, it's instruction. It shows you the cracks. It reveals the truth about your system, your discipline, your emotional durability. Most traders panic, they spiral, they revenge trade, they throw everything away. But the pros study, they reduce risk, they go still. They turn drawdown into curriculum. What broke? Where did I deviate? What assumption failed? What emotion took the wheel? Drawdown is data. Painful, yes, but packed with clarity, if you're willing to look. This is where you grow, not in the winning streak, but in the unraveling. When you lose, you get honest. When it hurts, you get humble. And when you survive, you gain something deeper than confidence. You gain wisdom. Drawdown forces refinement. It forces evaluation. It strips away ego. It calls you back to the core. So stop hiding from it. Face it, not to punish yourself, but to understand yourself. Shrink size. Slow down. Analyze every trade, not just the outcome, but the motive. Not just the setup, but the state of mind behind it. This is emotional review. This is psychological rebalancing. The deeper the drawdown, the sharper the insight if you stay open. And when you come back different, wiser, calmer, less reactive, more prepared. Drawdown teaches risk. It teaches humility. It teaches realism. And those lessons are not setbacks. They are foundations. So don't resist the teacher. Study the pain. Extract the principle. Refine your edge. That's how the pro is born. Most traders want to win fast. They want to grow quickly. They want to scale aggressively. And in that rush, they burn out. They blow up. They disappear. But the market doesn't reward speed. It rewards duration. It rewards those who endure, those who last, those who stay in the game long enough to learn. Survival is the real edge. It gives time for skill to compound. It gives room for wisdom to form. It protects you while you're still becoming. This is not about playing it safe. It's about playing it smart, about knowing when to push and when to pull back, about knowing that capital isn't just money, it's energy, it's attention, it's emotional bandwidth. Blowing up your account isn't just financial, it's psychological. It shatters trust, it rewires fear. It can take years to repair. So the pros survive. They manage risk like oxygen. They size down when needed. They stop trading when clarity is gone. They walk away so they can return. Survival is strategy. It's not passive. It's active discipline. You must learn to protect your floor before you chase the ceiling. You must learn to stop before the spiral. You must learn to stay flat when the storm comes. Because staying alive means staying ready. It means learning every week. It means keeping your identity intact through all seasons. This is longevity. This is endurance. This is how the outliers are born. Not from explosive gains, from quiet consistency, from showing up again and again without collapse. The ones who make it aren't the loudest. They're the ones who don't go away. Be that trader. Make survival your mission. Let time be your ally. And one day, when others are gone, you'll still be standing, still refining, still growing. That's when the market starts to whisper back, because you earned the right to still be here. You came here for answers, maybe to fix your losses, maybe to find your edge, maybe to feel like you're not alone in the struggle. But what you found was a mirror. 15 laws, and none of them were about charts. None were about patterns. None were about secrets. They were about you, your habits, your mindset, your emotions, your ability to sit with discomfort without letting it drive the wheel. This is the real game, the invisible game, the one that happens before you ever click buy or sell. You've seen it now, how fear disguises itself as intuition, how greed whispers like ambition, how needing to be right is often what makes you wrong. You've seen that trading isn't about control, it's about surrender. Not to chaos, but to presence, to process, to truth. These laws don't promise riches, they promise responsibility. They ask you to become a different kind of person, one who doesn't flinch at red, one who doesn't chase green, one who trades from center, not from reaction. This work isn't easy, it's not linear, it's not always rewarding in the moment, but it is transformative, because each mistake becomes fuel, each emotion becomes a compass, each journal entry becomes a map, and slowly, you change. You stop overtrading, you start reviewing, you stop needing to win, you start needing to understand. And that shift, that internal shift, is what separates the 95% from the 5%. Not strategy, not speed, not prediction, awareness, adaptability, discipline. The market will test you. It will expose every crack in your foundation. It will mirror your deepest fears, but it will also sharpen you if you let it. So don't waste the pain. Don't numb it. Don't run. Study it. Use it. Alchemize it. You're not here to be perfect. You're here to become precise, present, patient, professional. This is not the end. This is the beginning. The start of trading yourself before you trade the market. And if you commit to that, not just once, but daily, you won't just survive this game. You'll transcend it. If something in this resonated, don't just close the tab. Take one breath, one pause, one moment to ask yourself, which law do I keep breaking? Then write. Write what triggered you, what challenged you, what woke something up. Because knowing isn't enough. Awareness without action changes nothing. This channel, Mind Over Markets, isn't here to entertain. It's here to guide, to challenge, to walk beside you while you learn to walk through fire without burning your edge. So here's what you do next. Pick the law that hit you hardest. Comment with the number. Not for the algorithm, for accountability. Then commit. One journal entry per trade, one breath before every entry, one review at the end of each day. And if you're ready, join the 30-day challenge, a month of tracking your mind instead of chasing the market. Details are in the description. Tools, prompts, a full framework. Because this isn't about hype, it's about habits, not about predictions, about presence. We're building a community of traders who go deeper, who don't just want to win, who want to last, who want to lead themselves before leading a position. So if you're still here, you're one of them. Comment, commit, begin. Mind over markets. That's how the few make it.